So hello everyone and welcome to this SAP short video about a simple yet interesting concept called parameter ID. Now as an SAP user we are required to enter a lot of values on selection screens across a lot of different transaction codes. What the parameter ID concept effectively does is it helps you default values for certain fields where you are using repetitive or same values across the transaction codes, sometimes even across modules. So let's take a quick look at one such transaction code. The transaction code in itself is not very important. We will take a look or try to default the value for sales organization here. Of course, you see now that this is blank. I do an F1 help here, which basically gives you more information or description of the field on what its purpose is. If you go into the technical information, you will see that there is a field here called parameter ID. Let's copy this field VKO. Now what we are discussing is something that you can use even in different modules. The only criteria is that the field needs to have a parameter ID assigned. Some fields may not have this assigned. So where you default it is you go to your user profile and go to user data. Alternatively, you can also arrive here with transaction code SU3. And you go to this parameters tab and enter the parameter ID VKO. Let me default a test value. I just gave 0001. You will need to save it, of course. Let's go back to this transaction code that we were looking at earlier. If we see the default value, indeed you do. If you change the transaction code, do you still see the defaulted value? Yes, you do. Okay, what happens if I change this value? Now let me go back and change this value. Okay, I hit enter. If I now go back to the other transaction code, you will see that this value is updated. So the concept is that it takes the session value which overrides your default value. So if you log into the SAP system again, it will be defaulted back to 0001, but if you use some other sales organization in a transaction, then it may get updated to that one because that is the latest one you are using in that session. Also, a known fact is some of the transaction codes are not recognizing the parameter ID concept. So here if I go to VF04, you still see that that's blank. So this is something that even SAP acknowledges. There are certain limitations to the concept, but in most cases this works fine. So yeah, hope this helps you. Thank you.